Beyond the buzzer, inside the game, this is Sports IQ with Larry Smith.
Welcome here to Sports IQ. Glad you're here with us. This is Larry Smith, and this is Tuesday, and this is another fantastic show we've got for you. We're going to step outside the top 25, but hang with me here. There's a team that's really intriguing right now that is 4-1. They're playing more freshmen on that team than the entire Big Ten right now, starting more freshmen. Stat I got from producer Tony, who's outstanding. By the way, we go back, have I mentioned we go back like 30, 32 years, like forever? Like he's like a big brother, and he wouldn't steer me wrong. Anyway, Maryland, we've got Edward Lee talking about the Maryland Terrapins. Big game come up against Nebraska this week. It is not a top 25, but we're really intrigued with what this team is doing. So we've got them coming up here. Also, Megan Rose from the United States Tennis Association, USTA, talking about a new initiative that they're working on too. Stepping outside the football game, if you will, for just a moment. We'll talk a lot of NFL in just a bit. And by the way, we are loaded this week when it comes to guests because we have so many big games this weekend. We've got Oregon hosting Indiana on the 3:30 Eastern kickoff on CBS. We have insiders from both of those guys coming up later this week. Our friend Andrew Monaco, voice of the Texas A&M Aggies, will be on. We have both Matt Stevens, the one from Illinois, talking about the Illini before they take on Ohio State. We have the other Matt Stevens from UCLA, talking about the Bruins after their shot heard around the world, right? I mean, maybe the biggest upset of the decade, possibly. They took down Penn State on Saturday, so we'll hear from two Matt Stevens, ironically both in the Big Ten. Also, Kevin Noon joining us, talking Ohio State. Eric Hansen talking Notre Dame. We've got an insider, Colin Gay, talking Alabama. So listen, you got to be here every single day this week. We are loaded, getting ready for Week 7 in college football. So let's start with today. Let's finish off Week 5 in the NFL. And last night's Monday Night Football game, Jags and Chiefs in Jacksonville. Hey, Trevor Lawrence, 26th birthday. Interesting way to celebrate. The Chiefs took a 4-point lead with 1:55 left in the game. The former number 1 overall draft pick drove his team down into scoring position with about 30 seconds left. On 1st and goal from the 1, and you might have read about this or heard about this, Lawrence had his foot stepped on by his right guard, stumbled to the ground, tripped, getting up, stumbled again, and somehow managed to avoid 3 Chiefs and make his way into the end zone. And the Jags had a 31-28 win over Kansas City. So they not only matched their win total already from last season, but they also broke an 8-game losing streak to the Chiefs. First time since 2009, I believe it was. Kansas City actually outgained the Jags by over 150 yards last night, and they had a 14-0 lead. It looked like an easy night, but a Patrick Mahomes interception was returned by linebacker Devin Lloyd for a 99-yard touchdown. Suddenly, the Jags were up 21-14. The Chiefs had won 23 straight when leading by 14 until last night. But now, all of a sudden, KC is 2-3. And again, the questions are, will they be there in the end? I'm sorry. I think it is an Andy Reid coach team. It is Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. They're going to somehow be there in the playoffs. But it's amazing to see some of these other teams come through. Listen, Jacksonville opportunistic. Give credit to Liam Coen. Liam Coen, their new head coach. He had 2 separate one-year stints at Kentucky in the college game. Sandwiched around a 1 year with the Rams, last year with the Bucs, and now he's with Jacksonville. And he's right now 4-1, sitting right now atop the AFC standings overall. So good for him and good for the Jags. They deserve it down there. Baseball playoffs, things getting interesting in Philly last night between the Dodgers and Phillies. Dodger starter Blake Snell went 6 innings and gave up just 1 hit. Reliever Emmett Sheehan then worked 2 innings, gave up only 2 hits and 1 run. Still, Dodgers up 4-1 thanks to a 4-run 7th inning highlighted by a Will Smith 2-run single. The 9th inning get a little bit hairy for the Dodgers and their beleaguered bullpen. Blake Trinian coming in, starting the 9th, facing 3 hitters, including a 2-run double to Nick Castellanos. He got no outs, and then he was gone. Alex Vesia comes in, got outs, but left with runners at the corner and 2 away. Rory Sasaki enters, retiring National League batting champ Trey Turner on a ground out to second. for the rookie's second career save, both in this series. He has just been outstanding after spending quite a bit of time on the injured list. The Dodgers now have 2 chances at home to close out this best-of-5 series as they're up 2-0. All told, 80 of the 90 teams that have taken a 2-0 series lead have gone on to win. So it looks very good for the defending World Series champs. In the other NL series, the Brewers 1 game away from advancing to the NLCS 7-3 win over the Cubs last night. Andrew Vaughn and Jackson Churia each with 3-run homers. William Contreras added a solo shot. Boy, the bats were out. Offensive outburst for Milwaukee. The Cubs had a 3-0 lead in the top of the first off Aaron Ashby. Looked like this was going to be the night for them as they would tie the series at a game apiece, but Chicago never scored again. Ashby lasted just a third and 2 innings, and then the bullpen coming in to combine for 7 1/3 innings of shutout relief, in which they allowed just 1 hit. Just a fantastic performance by that bullpen. So the Cubs now go back to Wrigley, needing to win 2 straight to bring the series back to Milwaukee for a deciding Game 5, Game 3 of that series, and the Phillies-Dodgers series, both tomorrow night. Today, by the way, the American League continues. The Yankees are at home needing a win to avoid elimination against Toronto, and Detroit is at home against Seattle. That series is tied at 1. Let's check a little WNBA news for you now. The labor deal for that league set to expire on Halloween. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver coming out on Monday and expressing confidence in a new deal getting done. Silver said on Monday, "We will get a deal done with the players. Lots of work left to be done, but we'll, of course, get a new collective bargaining deal done." Now, players are fighting for, obviously, as always, a bigger share of the league's revenue, and it's a pretty small one they have right now, and there are reasons for that. Currently received just 9.3%. Compare that to the nearly 50% that NBA players receive from the basketball-related income that they split with the league. So you can see there's a massive discrepancy. But again, for the WNBA, they have a $2.2 billion new media rights deal set to kick in next season. They have the addition of 5 expansion teams over the next 5 years, 3 of them paying $250 million each. It's obvious the WNBA is growing at a rapid rate. However, player salaries have not reflected that growth in popularity. So this is a very crucial offseason. Even Caitlin Clark said here over the weekend that this is the biggest moment for the league in more than 25 years since they approach their 30th season. A lot is happening right now at the WNBA. By the way, speaking of, their finals are going on. Another off day today. Game 3 is tomorrow night in Phoenix, and Las Vegas leads that best-of-7 series 2-0. We're watching that very quickly, though. By the way, the NBA, we should say, if you missed it, if you haven't been paying attention, their preseason is already underway as we are now 2 weeks from tonight from the NBA regular season tipping off on the 21st. It's just insane. As we were saying last week, it's always, like around Halloween when they tip things off. They're early now, getting it going there. The NBA and the Oklahoma City Thunder will be entering as the defending reigning NBA champions. Another NBA note, by the way, that we haven't talked about, LeBron James with the big announcement coming up here on this Tuesday. What will he decide? So our prediction is that he's going to announce this is his final. Look, LeBron's not walking away from the game. Okay, LeBron's not going to walk away from the love, from the adulation, from the cheers. He'll have a retirement tour. So I think either he's going to, announce this is his final year, therefore get ready to show me love when I come to your city. This is my final year. Or what he could do is say, this is my final year as a Laker, and leave the retirement speculation out there. So that way he gets a retirement tour with the Lakers and possibly another retirement tour later, sort of the way Michael Jordan did with Washington back when he retired. So we will see what happens there. We've got the Mark Sanchez story we have not discussed yet. This just gets more bizarre. So the former NFL quarterback who has for several years has been an analyst for Fox TV broadcast, that stabbing incident over the weekend, late Friday night, early Saturday morning in downtown Indianapolis, he has now been charged with a felony in that. Just some crazy details. He got into an altercation with a 69-year-old man who was parked in an alley between 2 hotels there in the city. His job was to collect the grease from the grills and the restaurants, et cetera, and somehow tried getting into his car. The man ended up pepper spraying Sanchez. He was so aggressive, said that he felt that it was a fight or die situation. This guy's coming to kill me. Winds up pulling out a knife and stabbing him. Sanchez in the hospital in critical condition at one point. He's now stable, but he's now been charged. He was already arrested in the hospital over the weekend, and those charges are upgraded on Monday to a felony. So the man in question, he's already lawyered up, already filed lawsuits, et cetera. So this is just a messy situation. Number one, we're glad nobody was killed, because it sounds like this certainly was a situation that could have gone much worse. Now they'll work all these things out, and both men in the hospital, separate hospitals, and we wish the best for both of them as this thing plays out. But just a crazy situation. You rarely hear of a high-profile athlete, current or former, getting into this kind of situation. And the question remains, what were you thinking, Mark Sanchez? Maybe one day we'll get the answer to that. The NHL season, meanwhile, getting underway tonight. 3 games, including the defending champion Florida Panthers at home against Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks. The big news was off the ice, though, and it was good for the Edmonton Oilers. The speculation around Connor McDavid's future with the Oilers can now be put to rest, at least for the moment. He has signed a 2-year, $25 million contract extension with the Oilers, the team announcing on Monday. McDavid, a 3-time winner of the Hart Trophy as the NHL's most valuable player, was entering the final year of his current contract at $12.5 million per season. He'll make the same AAV in his new 2-year contract extension that comes in well below market value, especially after the Minnesota Wild signed Kirill Kaprizov to an extension worth $17 million per year. If he'd hit free agency next summer, McDavid would have certainly commanded a price tag north of that number, which makes this an extremely team-friendly deal. So again, McDavid, star of the Oilers for his career, is going to be in Edmonton for a while longer. Okay, stay with us. We've got Megan Rose coming up next here talking a little tennis, and Edward Lee joining us talking Maryland Terrapins. That's still on the way. You're on the Sports IQ.
Everything is expensive right now. Gas, food, you name it. You're spending more, you are making the same or less money. So, what do? You rack up credit card debt. That's what you do. It's not your fault. It's the economy. And guess what? If you rack up too much credit card debt like some of us, you can't pay your bills. Then the credit card companies, as nice as they are, start hounding you for money. Then you start your downward spiral. A smart thing for you to do is to call the Zero Debt. They can help you consolidate all your credit card bills into one affordable payment. Millions of people have done it. It works to make you debt-free. Make this free call right now. It costs you nothing to learn more.
800-507-7293. 800-507-7293. 800-507-7293. That's 800-507-7293.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you test and inject daily, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-390-5160. 800-390-5160. 800-390-5160. That's 800-390-5160.
You're listening to Sports IQ with Larry Smith.
I want to talk a little tennis with you right now. Megan Rose is the managing editor and head of business development and operations for USTA Coaching. It's a new United States Tennis Association division. Megan, good to talk with you. Could you kind of give us an overview of the new coaching initiative that the USTA has announced?
Yeah, we're really excited. USTA Coaching is a new national platform that's been designed to empower, educate, and support coaches across all levels within the United States. So think anyone from a parent that wants to introduce tennis to their kids for the first time, to a high school coach, or maybe a part-time volunteer, all the way up to the full-time teaching professional. So a really holistic platform, a one-stop shop for people who really want to deliver tennis in their community. And USTA Coaching is here to support that journey.
You know, USTA, I mean, obviously it's been around for a very long time and has been such an integral part of our sport, not here in our country, but clearly an impact worldwide. What did you see that was missing, or that needed to be improved, or needed to be changed, that brought this on?
It's a great question. So USTA has a strategy to get 35 million tennis players in the United States by 2035. And so in order to achieve that, we really looked at 3 pillars. One, do we have enough participation opportunities for players? 2, do we have enough courts for them to play tennis on? And then 3, do we have enough coaches to deliver the game across the country? And unfortunately, right now, we don't have enough coaches. And so USTA coaching was really born out of this idea that we really want to recruit and retain more tennis coaches of different levels, different background, different experiences that really want to deliver tennis in their community. And so we really feel like we're going to be helping and filling that gap. And having more coaches as part of USTA coaching that are going to go out and deliver great experiences for players everywhere and really help with that retention.
Did you see a drop in participation? You said the coaching was down, but we've joked that on the professional level, on the world stage, that we've got some players now, but it was that we went through a period of time there where we didn't have Americans at the very top levels competing for Grand Slam championships. Now, again, things are cyclical, and there were great players from other countries. But was there a reduction in participation for a while?
So tennis is booming. So tennis really, it was one of the only sports that during the pandemic that we saw a huge bump in participation, and that participation growth has continued over the last several years. And so we are thrilled. Tennis is as popular as it's ever been. And so we really want to make sure, again, that we have enough coaches that are going to support that boom. So, we want to make sure that there's not a one in, one out type of a situation, but for every player that gets out on the court, no matter what their level or ability or what community they're in, that there's a coach that can really help support that journey. And again, that can be even just a parent introducing tennis to their kid for the first time, or a really incredible high school coach that inspires the kids to stay in the sport. And so no, tennis is here and it's booming, and we're excited about that. And so we're really kind of seeing how we can support that from a USTA coaching perspective so that we can grow coaching at hopefully the same pace that we're seeing the participation grow.
Nice. Awesome. Talking with Megan Rose of USTA coaching. When you mention, what does good coaching do for young players, not only from an ability standpoint, but even just from a confidence standpoint?
We know how important coaches are. I mean, I think we can all remember, if we grew up playing sports, a coach that really made a positive impact on us, and then, maybe a coach that didn't make such a positive impact on us. And so, as we see kids coming out and wanting to experience the sport, parents have a lot of choices now as it relates to youth sports. And so the more coaches that we have out there that can deliver playful, fun, inspiring situations for kids that are getting on court, the more likely we are that they're going to continue to play. And we know that tennis is a multi-generational sport. It's a sport that a parent and a kid can play together, a kid and a grandparent can play together. And so how can we inspire kids? How can we give them the confidence and the tools that they need, that they go back home and they're like, man, Mom, that was so fun. I can't wait to go play again. And we really feel like with USTA coaching that we're providing those benefits and support that can enhance all of these coaches' experience, which then in turn helps enhance the experience of the players themselves. And so we're really excited about this. We really think that this is going to be critical to continued growth of tennis participation in the United States and more healthy communities everywhere. Tennis is the world's healthiest sport. The more people we can get continuing to play, it's just healthier communities all around. And so we're really thrilled on how coaching can play a part in that.
Yeah, that is awesome. Speaking again, staying with the coaching, what do you think? Let's say there's somebody listening who, is involved in tennis and maybe considering being a coach. What makes a good tennis coach?
I think a lot of people would say, "Oh, can you teach a great forehand, or can you teach great, serve?" Which that's also true, but can you inspire people to want to come back? USTA coaching. Our coaching philosophy is really built around playful, fun, inclusive environments. And so we really want coaches to know that a lot of it is just around, can you keep people wanting to come back? And a lot of that is not necessarily, I think we've all seen maybe some ugly forehands out there, but they love it and they want to keep coming back. And so, how can we help coaches want to deliver on those experiences? How can we give them the tools on different play formats, or, introducing red ball tennis at their club? So how can we really help coaches to make sure that no matter what type of player comes into their facility, no matter the age, the ability, physical, cognitive disability, potentially, how can we support coaches so that they really feel like when a player walks off the court, that they had that true connection with the coach that makes them want to come back and continue the support of their game moving forward?
I was always one of those with the bad forehand, but I did go back. That's a good thing. So it didn't deter me too much.
Exactly. That's all that matters.
Exactly. How will this program, do you believe, will help American tennis at the higher levels in the future?
Look, we've seen some incredible results of American players lately. So many great coaches out there right now that are supporting our top American players. You know, we have our player development program here at the USTA, which has done a remarkable job in supporting that growth of American tennis. We really just think that the more coaches that we have in the United States, you know, the more that we have at each of these different levels. So the more high school coaches, the more part-time volunteers that are at the Parks and Rec or local boys and girls clubs. And then we know that we'll also be able to get and funnel more coaches into this kind of high performance space. You know we need more women coaches in the high performance space. And so the more people that we can attract into this profession, whether it's at a part-time or full-time basis, the more that we're likely to see to continue to support this high level of American players, so that we see more Americans lifting the U.S. Open trophy for years to come.
Yeah, and I hope that the success we've had with these young players recently will inspire those other young players to not only get involved, but stay involved and try to climb in that. Let's say that someone listening wants to get involved. What do they do to reach out to you guys and become part of this?
It's super easy. You just have to head to USTAcoaching.com. That's where you'll find the opportunity to select from one of 4 packages that we have. So it's a free package for any parents or those that are just really looking to get started, all the way to a $249 package level. And that's really for that full-time teaching professional. And so there really is something for everyone here. So again, USDAcoaching.com is really your one-stop, digital hub for all the resources, benefits, and education that you need. So we look forward to having you join us.
Awesome. Megan, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much. And good luck with this. This is really exciting.
Thank you.
One of the great sports everywhere. And we'd love to hopefully get some more people involved in it. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it. Once again, Megan Rose joining us. She's the managing director of USTA Coaching joining us here. And you just heard right there how to get involved. And again, go and do that. Okay, we've got more Sports IQ on the way. Stay with us.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right. For about $50 a month, you'll get lightning-fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. But you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now. 800-215-0341. 800-215-0341. 800-215-0341. That's 800-215-0341.
Fans of big sports radio and sports spectacular podcasts have a new home on the Chief Sports Network. Find your favorite programs and content all in one place by downloading the Chief Sports app in your mobile device. Created in South Carolina, the Chief Sports Network is the home of an expanding network of live and podcast format programming. It is also the home of one of the leading national college football podcasts, JC and Morgan, hosted by ESPN's Mike Morgan and 24/7 Sports' JC Sherbert. Download the Chief Sports app for free and find all of your favorite programming under one easy umbrella. Thanks to all of our markets for your loyal support of Big Sports Radio and our Sports Spectacular podcast, and we look forward to connecting with you anywhere in the world on the Chief Sports app.
How is your car payment treating you? What if I told you you could make a free phone call right now and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Look at your car payment closely. You could be paying as high as 20% interest. Rate Genius can help you reduce your car payments by reducing your interest rate to as low as 2.48% APR. We can refinance most existing car loans or leased cars, new or used, and save you money every month. Put more money back in your pocket. The call is free to find out how low we can lower your car payment. 5 minutes of your time right now could save you hundreds of dollars a year. Call Rate Genius now.
800-425-1161. 800-425-1161. 800-425-1161. That's 800-425-1161. Not all applicants
You're locked in to Sports IQ with Larry Smith.
As we mentioned at the top of the show, we have a great guest here talking about a team that's really intriguing in college football. Edward Lee is the Maryland Terrapins beat writer for the Baltimore Sun. And joining us now to talk more about the Terps football team. Edward, welcome to Sports IQ.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. We were talking before about the number of freshmen that you guys actually have started more freshmen as a team than the entire Big Ten Conference combined. Talk about this season and Coach Mike Locksley and how he settled on really going with the youth movement right now in an era where everyone kind of goes to the portal and you reload with you go buy some veterans and bring them in, but Locksley is doing something different.
Yeah, Mike has spoke about this in the past that obviously, because of the transfer portal, you want to bring in guys who are experienced, are kind of veterans and can sort of show the way. At the same time, he's also recruiting freshmen and you have to give them a chance to play. Otherwise, they may think, well, why stick around? I can go somewhere else. So he understands that there's a give and take here in terms of giving freshmen an opportunity to play. It also helps that he's brought in a certain number of freshmen who are primed and can play now rather than waiting in the wings. And so they've proven that they should be on the field based thus far on some of their accomplishments.
It's been fantastic to watch. I mean, obviously Saturday's game, bitter pill to swallow, leading Washington, but the Huskies come back. They're in College Park, get the win. Otherwise, this team's 5-0 and probably in the top 25.
Yeah, Saturday was kind of a gut punch, which is kind of how I began my story on that loss. You're up 20-0. You had just scored a touchdown to open the second half. Your defense had done very well in terms of keeping Washington from a scoring opportunities. I mean, I think I had written my story to pretend at this point saying that they were going to win.
Yeah.
And then midway through the fourth quarter, as Washington started to make that comeback, I had that awful feeling like I better change my story and start writing as if they're going to lose. And lo and behold, they end up falling apart in the end.
Yeah, tough loss for Maryland, but still 4-1 for a team, again, with a lot of question marks, certainly going into this game. Want to talk about not just Washington, the team, but your quarterback, Malik Washington. He's one of those freshmen, a 6'5" kid who grew up there in the area. What has he brought to this team, and what has he shown for the Terrapins so far this season?
Well, it's funny. One, obviously, he's talented enough to start as a freshman at quarterback. He beat out a transfer from UCLA, a redshirt freshman who had already known the system. And he had proven that he deserved to start under center. So he's done that. He's played well at times through the first 4 games. I think Saturday was the first time you saw him play like a freshman. He made some throws off his back foot. He overthrew some of his targets, kind of the plays that you expect from a first-year player. But if you talk to his teammates, a lot of them say that even though he's a freshman, he's wise beyond his years, that they believe in him, they trust him. He has a voice in the huddle that they listen to. So there is a sense of confidence and trust in Malik Washington from his teammates that you kind of don't see too often here in collegiate level because not many true freshmen get to start, but I think he's earned it.
That's outstanding. And how about the defense too, with what you guys have done so far, Maryland? Again, 4-1. I know, played some Power 4 teams to start, which is not a bad move. Again, considering the youth, you want to try to work that out. But defensively, again, giving up only 10 points to Wisconsin and holding Washington in check, like you said, for about 3.5 quarters.
I think the key was Mike Locksley bringing in Ted Monachino. He was the outside linebackers coach for the Baltimore Ravens, and he had worked with guys like Terrell Suggs, Jarrett Johnson, and I think you're seeing that influence in this defense right now because I think they're one of the top teams in the Big Ten in sacks. Many of those sacks are coming from guys off the edge, which is Ted Monachino's strength. Sidney Stewart, Zahir Mathis, those guys are freshmen who are coming off the edge and getting most of the sacks. And then Mike Locksley talked about how one of the things that Ted wanted to do was ask the cornerbacks to play more man press coverage. Last year, they did a lot of zone, and I think a lot of offenses took advantage of that. So this year, they've been playing a lot more man press, making it more difficult, trying to throw the receivers off the rhythm. And I think you're seeing the fruits of that.
You mentioned Coach Mike Losh. We both have talked about him. Veteran coach. He's been a head coach elsewhere, assistant, he's a coordinator elsewhere. Respected guy. I mean, everyone loves Coach Lox. Now in his 7th year there, what does he bring to this program and the stability that he's brought to this? And it sounds like he's got the support of administration, everyone there, his bosses, that he's the guy to get the job done.
Yeah, he's a local guy. He grew up in D.C. and he's talked about how he went to Maryland games as a kid growing up. And, that's kind of where his allegiance or I guess affiliation to Maryland began. And he's a guy who went up through the ranks working under Ralph Friedgen, DJ Durkin, Randy Edsall. So he's a guy, I think, who cares about Maryland, because it's kind of in his backyard. And like you said, he does have the support of the administration. They have given him full backing this year, even with a new AD coming in. I will say last year, there were more drumbeats about whether he should be replaced, trying to find a new candidate as a coach. But I think this year, with how well the team is playing and how well the freshmen have been doing, you don't hear that anymore. I mean, who knows if the season spirals downward from this point on? Yes, you will hear that. But as for now, I think he's got the full support of a lot of people, more of the movers and shakers behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's funny. Fan bases across the country just fickle. It's what we are, right? I mean, no matter what, James Franklin, they want to run out of town. He wins 10 games every year. You're right. But Maryland already with the 4 wins has matched last year's win total. And that was coming off back-to-back 8-win seasons. And that was with division play when you were still in the same division with Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. And so I've always given Coach Lox credit because, you've got 3 behemoths that are with the old schedule format were locked into your schedule every year before you even, blew the whistle for the first practice in August. You had them facing you every year. Now with the change without divisions, you're kind of spreading around playing other teams. It just feels like there's a chance for parity in all these leagues and even in the SEC as well.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you look at Maryland, like this year, someone had asked me, what do you think their record will be? And I had said, if they can match last year's 4-8 record, that would be kind of a bonus. Anything beyond that would be gravy. But this is the year now that you look at it. I mean, they only play Michigan and Indiana in terms of ranked opponents in the Big Ten. They don't have to go to Ohio State. They don't have to face Penn State. They've got Nebraska, UCLA, I believe Rutgers, and Michigan State. I mean, those are 4 winnable games. If they win those 4, that's 8 wins. I mean, that's double what they had last year. I think that would be mind-boggling if you had said to someone before the season began. So you're right. Parity has descended upon the league. Getting rid of divisions has been a godsend, I think, for Maryland at this point. Expectations now, I think, have been raised because there's an opportunity there to get beyond the typical 6 wins just to qualify for a bowl.
Right, exactly. Talking with Edward Lee again. He's the Maryland Terrapins beat writer for the Baltimore Sun as they are about to host Nebraska here this Saturday. It's a 3:30 Eastern kickoff on Big Ten Network. So you get a chance to see all these freshmen coming together in this one. When you watch Nebraska, another team that's looking to, like Maryland, to kind of climb into that upper echelon of the Big Ten right now, what concerns you about the Cornhuskers going into Saturday?
Well, I think it starts at quarterback. I mean, if you looked at what happened Saturday against Washington, Damon Williams Jr., was not very good through the first 3 quarters, and then he erupted in the second half, like last quarter and a half, and primarily through the air. Nebraska has a very good quarterback. I always butcher the young man's last name, but Dylan
Raiola.
Yeah, I always butcher his last name, but I mean, he's a capable quarterback. I believe last time I checked, I think maybe he was 5th in the conference in yards and then maybe tied for 3rd in passing touchdowns. That's the kind of quarterback. And then they also have a very capable running back, young man. I believe his last name is Johnson. I forgot his first name. But when you have that kind of balance on an offense, and you're testing that against the Maryland defense that, showed some cracks on Saturday, I think that would be my biggest concern heading into Saturday's game.
Yeah, Emmett Johnson, the running back, averaging almost 100 yards a game, 7 touchdowns already on the ground for the Cornhuskers. And a team like Maryland, 4-1 coming in. Of course, Matt Rule, another coach, is respected, and we know what he has done in year 3. I mean, wherever he's gone, Temple year 3 was huge. Baylor year 3 was the breakthrough, and now this is year 3 there in Lincoln. I want to also get into a little bit, if we can, about, you talked about the schedule and talked about all these freshmen, the NIL situation and the House settlement coming into play in July. How is that in terms of Maryland spending for players in the transfer portal, NIL, the profit sharing or the revenue sharing? How has that played out there in College Park?
Well, Mike Locksley has talked about how the House settlement has leveled the playing field in the Big Ten. Last year, Maryland could not compete with Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, even a program like Indiana. And because they didn't have that financial backing, they couldn't bring in the players that they wanted to recruit. With the House settlement, they certainly now have the pockets to do so, and so now they can try to target the same players that a lot of these other programs are targeting. And they might not get the guys who have their eyes set on Ohio State and Penn State and Michigan, but maybe they can compete with Illinois, Michigan State, maybe even Indiana or Minnesota and Nebraska for the type of players that your program needs to build on. So I think the House settlement, for all the talk of how much this new era has kind of changed college sports irrevocably, it's certainly been a boon, I think, for Maryland, especially with football this year.
Yeah. And, it seems like that Maryland is just a sleeping giant. I mean, you've got the metro area, obviously, right there, the DMV, Baltimore. I think of Locksley when he was on, I think it was Ron Zook's staff at Illinois years ago. He brought in Aurelius Ben from the DC area and the Davis brothers. I mean, he's always recruited that area well. Like he said, he's from there. It seems like if you can get an upset or two and crack into the top 25 and kind of get some of that national exposure, this is kind of a sleeping giant. If you've got these young players here, they mature, you get some recruiting classes, and all of a sudden, the fortunes of Terrapin football really change.
Yeah, I think that's the one piece that's kind of missing from this program. I know a lot of the players have talked about how much they vibe with Mike, in terms of when he was recruiting them, and that's what drew them to Maryland. So you have that kind of, for lack of a better word, kind of a father figure in Mike who can connect with the kids. You have coaching staff, you have now facilities, but the success part hasn't been there. And I think that's what makes Saturday's loss a little bit more devastating, because if they had won, I think they had an outside chance of breaking the top 25. Whether that probably would have been number 23, number 24, number 25, yeah. But still, that's something that they could crow about and sort of show that to potential recruits. And so, yeah, I mean, sleeping giant is probably maybe a label too soon. I think they have potential.
Yeah. Well, I think if Coach Locksley's there, and it feels like he's going to be around. Like you said, you do have some tougher games coming up here later on the season. But like you said, if you can get back to an 8 wins, again, get to that bowl game, get to that where you've got that attention. There's some things, and you've got, again, I think, these freshmen will be sophomores next year, right? So there's a lot to build on right there. Want to get you very quickly, if we can, before I let you go, about basketball, the big change with Buzz Williams coming in from Texas A&M. How a lot of changes personnel-wise, Derek Queen to the NBA. What do the Terrapins basketball team look like as they begin their preseason workouts?
That's a very good question, because I don't know. We haven't had much interaction with Buzz since his introductory press conference, okay. And so we don't know what his style. I mean, I guess we do know his style based on his history. He prides himself on defense and rebounding. Uh-huh. That's going to be a much different style than we saw last year with Kevin Willard, where he wanted guys who could shoot 3-pointers, uh-huh. And he didn't care where they shot them from. He felt even a bad 3-pointer was better than a turnover or running out the shot clock. So, how will this style fit here in College Park, where a lot of fans are accustomed to last year's, quote unquote crab 5 and how explosive that offense was? Can they even get anywhere near that? So it'll be curious to see. But, as they say, wins cure everything, right? Yeah. Like, as long as they're winning, I think people will accept Buzz and his style of play, as ugly as it may be. But if they're not succeeding, then I think you're going to start hearing some of the questions come out from the woodwork.
Yeah. Big Ten Media Days coming up in Chicago on Thursday. The nation will get a chance to hear from Buzz on that day. And again, seeing how he's going to change things for Terrapin basketball, which has been, Kevin Willard was always Maryland team's always so dangerous under him. And listen, Buzz Williams has had success everywhere, right? I mean, Marquette, Virginia Tech, Texas A&M. So there's no question. I think none of us are expecting anything less now that he's there in Maryland. Hey, Edward, it is great to talk with you. Kind of threw you off guard a little bit the last question. We're going to talk football, but appreciate the answer, get the insight on that. Man, great to have you on the show. Hopefully you'll have time to come back and join us again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
Appreciate it. Okay, Edward Lee, once again, he is the Terrapins beat writer for the Baltimore Sun, and it is Maryland 4-1 taking on a 4-1 Nebraska team this weekend on Big Ten Network. We've got more to come. Keep it here. It's a Sports IQ.
Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-613-8053. 800-613-8053. 800-613-8053. That's 800-613-8053.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-373-8414. 800-373-8414. 800-373-8414. That's 800-373-8414.
Let's talk a little NFL now with producer Tony. And Tony, we're through week 5. And my question for you is, who is the best team right now in the NFL? Because you look at the standings, there are a lot of teams sitting right there at 4-1, and then the Steelers with the bye week at 3-1. There's a lot of parity. No one team has stepped up to say I'm the man.
Well, that's just it. There is total parity right now in the league, and I think right now, look, the same rule applies from college football I put to the NFL. Until somebody dethrones the man, they are still the man. And right now, the Eagles are still the man. Yeah, they lost this past weekend, lost their undefeated season. Let a team come back, rally on them, and take away the win. That happens. It's the NFL. There's these teams are so equal. That you can't just put your hat out there and expect to get a win like sometimes you can in college. Don't say that in front of Penn State fans. But I'll give credit to a few teams that deserve to be recognized at this point. Watch out for the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
That defense is playing lights out right now. They've given up 61 points in 5 games. That's a little over 11 points a game.
Yeah.
If you can do that in the NFL, you're going to win a lot of games. And CJ Stroud is looking better each week. Yeah, I know he picked on a riddled Baltimore Ravens team that had 5 or 6 members not in their normal starting cast there. He still did the job against NFL caliber players, and they looked really good. So I'd watch out for them. Watch out for the Jags. They looked good last night. I give you a couple of teams, Larry, that need to be concerned. The Buffalo Bills, and this pains me to say it, yes, they are 4-1. They have a 1-point win over the Ravens. right? And their next 3 games were against, let's face it, less than stellar competition. They played the Jets, they played the Saints, and they played another patsy. And they got 3 wins and didn't look all that great doing it. Came up against what is quickly becoming a decent New England team and did not show out. And the other thing, look, Buffalo Bills ownership, those silver uniforms, throw those away. Those were just dreadfully ugly. Toss them in the trash, never to be seen again. Bye. Go back to your old uniforms.
It was weird to see. It caught me off guard. I'm like, am I watching Buffalo? Am I watching the Eagles with some kind of weird, like that helmet almost looked like an Eagles wings. I had to just at first glance. And then once I realized what it was, I settled down and I focused more on the game itself. You're exactly right. But another team that I think I'm impressed with, you're right. The Eagles 4-1, you lost to a good Denver team. It happens. You're not going 17-0. Is that the 49ers right now are 4-1, even though Brock Purdy has been out. Mac Jones is banged up. They've got a lot of injuries there, but they've found a way to win 4 out of 5 games to start the season.
Yeah, let's give Mac Jones some love here, right? This is a guy that was cast aside in New England, bounced around the league, found a home seemingly now as a backup. Man's playing basically on one leg. You see him limping around. He's got a big, heavy brace on that one leg, and he's still getting the job done. He's doing what the 49ers need to win ball games. And that's a 49ers team that lost Bosa on the outside. He's done for the season. Brock Purdy's banged up. The wide receivers are still banged up. They're having lots of injury problems, but they're finding a way to get it done. Unlike the Ravens, who have a ton of injury problems, and they can't seem to get out of their own way at this point.
Yeah. Right now in the AFC, you mentioned Jacksonville again. We both impressed with them at 4-1. And as we talked at the top of the show, what Liam Coen has done in his first year as an NFL head coach there in Jacksonville. The Colts at 4-1. Again, we've talked before. Easily could be 5-0 if you don't make boneheaded plays. But still, what the start they've had is impressive. And I think if they can keep this up, they'll be a team that will be a serious contender come playoff time.
Absolutely. The offensive line looks really solid. I also love the way Daniel Jones is playing. He's not trying to do too much. He's letting that offensive line do what they do. He's running when need be. He's making smart decisions with the football. He's not trying to throw it into triple coverage. Taylor at running back is a beast. You can lean on him a lot to get it done. It's almost like what the Giants could have had. Saquon, Daniel, if you'd have built a decent offensive line, you might have had something there in New York Giant fans, but you didn't. And Larry, that's the other thing that not a lot of fans look at, but you have to look at the trenches. If you are not strong up front, offensive line, defensive line, you got no chance, which makes the Jets just an even bigger disaster, because how do you lose to a team that doesn't have 4/5 of their offensive line?
Right.
They're playing 4 backups in key spots, and they went through you like you were a piece of Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
If you're the Jets fans, I expect to see some bags over heads there in the Meadowlands in the coming weeks with little eye holes right around Halloween looking out, trying to watch this team, because they're brutal right now. They are horrible.
Yeah. You saw Aaron Glenn, again, we were joking, you and I off air that, boy, I tell you what, if you're what your first NFL head coaching job and the Jets call, you might want to pause and say, you know what, if I'm this good, there'll be another chance down the line. Let me just stay where I am. And let's, because the reclamation project is forever ongoing. We saw that Aaron Glenn, he cut the punt returner, Isaiah Williams, after he fumbled one punt and another he called a fair catch on the 2-yard line. It's just focus. It's those kinds of things, like you said. And then you've got a defense that couldn't even get past this, the second team offensive line for the Cowboys and let them score 37 points on you, to your point.
Right. Yeah, I think if you're Aaron Glenn or if you're a coach and you get that phone call, hi, this is the New York Jets calling, I'd like to interview you for the job. Gee, sorry, I got something to do that day. I'm coloring with my daughter at that time. I just can't make it. So you'll have to find somebody else. That's just not a phone call you even bother entertaining. Yeah, no, you're totally dysfunctional. You can't get out of your own way. I'm going to stay over here. Thanks much. Appreciate the offer. You go ahead and go on.
Yeah. Go back to the movie Major League and the manager. So how do you manage the Cleveland Indians? Oh, I don't know. I got to go to the line looking for a set of white walls. I got other things to do right now than to try to lead your team out of the event. So, yeah. Week 5 is in the books, and as always, so many storylines with every single NFL team as they try to now regroup or just improve, whatever the case is, for Week 6. Okay, we've got just a crazy moment of all. That's up next.
Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 800-413-7158. 800-413-7158. 800-413-7158. That's 800-413-7158.
Okay, time now for a moment of awe, and it goes out to a name you may have heard of in the past few days. Tom Sillo is 58 years old. Why do you care? Because he is the oldest college football player to sign an NIL deal. He plays for a Division III school, and he signed an NIL deal with, of course, Aspercream. What do you expect? Gatorade? I mean, come on. So anyway, 58-year-old, he's hoping to become the oldest player to play college football since 2009. He's a freshman. So listen, just like producer Tony and myself, he has years of producer Tony's already said, if you're looking for a 64-year-old middle linebacker who can just go hash mark to hash mark and nothing else, he's your guy. You're looking for a defensive back who can backpedal for the first 10 yards and then fall behind. I'm your guy. So there you go. But listen, Tom Sillo, NIL deal, Aspercream. God bless you, brother. Moment of awe. We appreciate our guests coming by. Edward Lee was here. Also, Megan Rose. As always, we appreciate you as well. Every single day we do this at Sports IQ. I'm Larry Smith. Make it a great Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to Sports IQ with Larry Smith, Monday through Friday. Continue the conversation at Sports IQ LS. We'll see you next time.